Gentlemen, we're now there. Please, let's come back to the discussion for this particular segment, talking about the prohibition in anti-grazing, the law, anti-grazing law, the enforcement of all these laws, especially in the southern part of Nigeria, talking about the southwest, the southeast, the south. So I'm saying that, look, it's just a law. It's not been enforced. It's been enforced by very few of the few people that came together to have this agreement vis-a-vis the southwest. Solomon, what have they say about that?
Unfortunate. Unfortunate that what is open grazing and what is anti-open grazing? Open grazing simply means rearers carrying their cattle openly, unguidedly through the roads and everywhere without having a place where they can gather and ranch. Then the anti-open grazing is a method of trying to ensure that herders get their cattle together or their animals together and put them in one place where people go there to do business with them. Now, why has open grazing become a major issue in Nigeria and anti-grazing become a major campaign by the southern governors? Grazing, as it were, is predominantly a northern business, especially when it relates to cattle. Yes, in the past or over the years, we have had these northern herders coming to the south to graze. Reason being that the north are most often like a land withered or deserted, and they have more of pasture in the south to feed their cattle. I remember in the days when we used to read the Fulani cattle in literature, where it is said how they lead them from the north to the south and then finally to the busher. And over time, we had lived with these headers without having problems. Like I mentioned in the first segment, that average northern person who have everything must have his transistor radio. But what we have had in the past was that the northern header goes around with his heading stick, his transistor radio, at best bow and arrow. But in recent times, it has evolved from bow and arrow to pump actions and AK-47. And when you ask them, they say the federal government does not provide or did not provide security for them, and they were cattle rustling. And what's cattle rustling? That people come around to steal their cattle and do all sorts of things. But what has been on the other side is that over time, these rearers and herders have moved into people's farms and wealth. The southern Nigeria is an agrarian region, predominantly farmers. Some farm in cocoa produce, some in yam, some in cassava, but all sorts and manners of farm produce. And what we saw was that the northern herders had succeeded over time into entering into farms. People's 1 year harvest and farming have been ravaged. And as such, crises and clashes came. And most often we had discovered that people had lost their lives. Some maimed. Mothers, daughters, sisters, children, manhandled, rape, and defilements, and all manners of ill talks. And then the need for the southern governors to congregate under the Southern Governors Forum. And said by 1st of September, all southern governors should have passed a bill prohibiting open grazing, referred to as anti-open grazing bill, passed into an act for the enforcement of this region. Because they realized over time that their region were being ravaged. Because all attempt to call the northern leadership if you like, the central leadership headed by the northern cabals to understand the effect of cattle herders issues in that with the farmers. We meet a brick wall. Okay. At a point, we got to know that even the Attorney General and the leadership of the federal government of Nigeria started canvassing for grazing rules across the southern region. And as such, it created issues. Okay. And then they asked that all the governors should pass a bill to the houses of assembly to be able to enforce a law. Having attempted to create their southwest Amotekun, the southeast issues, and now they are trying to form a network to police the issue.
All right, Solomon, thank you so much for taking us through memory lane right now to where we are. It's been passed in some states. Some people say that the enforcement is now the issue. Obiano over the week talked about the law and said the police would be on the ground to enforce it. Opera, do you see this happening?
Yeah, it will happen when you have a government that is sincere. I can bet you now that your coverage in Ondo is wide. You have one of our brothers there that gives daily reports about the day in and day out in Ondo. And I think since the issue of Amotekun came, you've not yet to hear a very negative issue from the said Ondo. It goes to show that the governor was ready. Now, the issue of security in Nigeria is beyond the police. It's beyond the army. We move the factor to ourselves because you have police, army in places where killings, kidnapping is still ongoing. If you go through, if we decide to leave now to go through from here to Auchi, we are going to see police soldier checkpoint from here to, no exaggeration, over 20. And we might be coming back and you hear people still kidnapping. So it goes to show that there's already a failure in the security architecture in Nigeria. So what is now the best form of security? Individual policing, individual, where you can now have the vigilante. Using Edo as a case study, I think immediately after the NSAS protest, Edo became a place where the likes of us, we are now confined to our various homes. But by the time they started the vigilante issue, even those that were fighting us, we're now giving to us, okay, hold the gun, and even you want me to fight, let me hold my gun, let's see. Oh, we now shoot first. Everybody became the respecter of law. I get it because when you are coming, you see with my gun, you are holding your own. Well, sometimes when I see that I might go and get a better one that can a rapid, so that before you even say Jacobi, see mine has gone about 40 something or 60 something. So if our government is also very serious, Edo State already has a blueprint of it. But what is killing it? A government that does not know how to pay back to these people, because it's not an easy thing to secure people, because you can also use an empty stomach in securing these people. So Amotekun now are on the payroll of the state government there. That's why you see the people are in the forest day in day out to combat those people. So Edo is playing politics with it. Others have done it. Your deputy was there when other governors agreed on what to do. But beats my imagination that you still at this point, it was at this point you have to go meet the president and telling the president that this is no. Right. Is the president aware that Okada, sometimes people are there, the cattle bearers there are killing our mothers. All right. It does not concern the president.
Right now, hold on. I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. Talk about cattle headers killing mothers. We have to please watch the way we paint words, okay? They're not killing, cattle headers are not killing our mothers, because we have the bad ones, and of course we have the good ones. They've been prohibited, but when we come back, we'll talk more about this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about the ban on open grazing. Yeah, that is what we're taking a look at, and we are talking about the enforcement, but in Edo State, we are still waiting for it to be made a law. Obare, we're with you before we went on that break. Please continue with your chain of thought.
Yeah, thank you so much. I said our governor is playing politics with the open grazing issue.
But if you say it's playing politics, there was a meeting, a town hall meeting to that effect. And of course, it's going to listen to the traditional rulers for him to make a final decision. Yeah. So how is he playing politics?
Yeah, just listen now. That's what I'm telling you. I think after the town hall meeting, I don't see any reason why the movement to Abuja, neither the movement for... The chiefs were also there. The palace chiefs were also seated at Imagweo, where the meeting was held. I get it now. So I'm sure that a resolution that was reached at that point was go and pass the law because the speaker was seated too. I get it now. So speaking English again to it, elongating it again, that's what I'm now saying politics. Because it was after the meeting, within 24, 48 hours after that meeting, they were supposed to get a head wave. But what we saw was a visit to Abuja to say, I want to make a presidency on this and that. So to me, if you would have gone to meet the president, come back with this meeting and meet with us to say this was what I discussed with the president. So what is the way forward? Not after we've met, you now take it back again. It was as if the meeting was of no value or use. And up till now, nothing has been said about that. And these people are doing things day in, day out. It just subsided a little because of this vigilante issue, which they don't still pay them. If we were paying this vigilante, me, I will not, if we leave the bill, let it go, because I know the people, some of the boys we have on this vigilante, they really want to work, but there's hunger. Do you know these people buy the bullet themselves? And the packet of bullets is about 16,000, 18,000. I get it now. So think of it, where would they get that money to fight these people? Think of it, if they were paid 50,000 stipends monthly, they will not have any excuse to buy bullets. So this is where I want us to get things right done. We should not play politics with the lives of people. What concerns us now, my greatest pain is that I'm happy now that it's now open, that everybody now has seen it as inimical to us, to say, no, the bandit, they've done worst. Because they go to villages, and do you know what it takes, Wilson? Just invest a little on some crops. You start it by January. Collect loan from Lapo anywhere, let's say 300, 400,000. You buy plantain seedlings, buy pineapple, go and look for a farmland to rent for, let's say, 10,000 a year. Clear it for, let's say, 100,000. Plant your seedlings to it. You've invested, let's say, 500,000 on that thing. Waiting for December, you are clearing around, waiting for December again to harvest. And by October, November, you go back and you see cattle now lives in that place, feeding on what you invested upon. And maybe when you try to shout, they chase you and machete your enemy. And with injury, you come back treating yourself. My brother, are we still supposed to be? These are justifiable evidences that I've given you, not one, not two. I've listened to several of them on ITV. How these people are disturbing. So think of the man now that no longer have money to pay back where collected money from, that they destroyed his farmland. What is the fate of that man? Maybe you didn't continue with your news about that man. Maybe that man might have hung himself out of frustration from this cattle. So are you going? Why are we still supposed to be speaking English around what we are supposed to name on the board to say no? This thing must not. We must not allow it pass this way. So that is why I can boldly say they want to play politics with it. Some of them are looking for Secretary of the Federation. Some of them want to go back to Senate. So they want the Northern Cabals support, because they know the Northerners are against the governors, or people not supporting this this anti-grazing law. So this is why our governors should believe that it is better to be with we the people than be with the very few individuals, because after your tenure, where are you going to sit down? You cannot be in this space all through not to come back home. If you come back home, how are you going to look at the people that you were supposed to answer and you didn't answer? So our government must not play politics with security, because security is not what anybody should toy with. That is what you swore not to it. that the lives and properties of your people, that is what you want to guide. You are the chief security officer of the state, and some people just come with their cattle and come the next thing. How can somebody be using gun to guide cattle? It's archaic. It's not what we're supposed to. It's unheard of. And the next thing, in a sane society, if you have me, I have pigs. My pigs are pregnant. I have about 5 to 8 pigs.
Yeah.
And you can't see it.
Because you protected them, you shielded them from their own property.
I pay the house mother helps me with it on monthly basis. Buy their food there. I know if you leave pigs out, pigs are very dangerous too. I get it now. Yeah. They can kill. They can kill. They can destroy too. They can destroy too. So I kept it somewhere. Use more money to help me. So if you also have 1 or 2 or 3 of your cow, also get somewhere, get somebody to be feeding them.
All right. All right.
You know anybody that now comes to meet my cow or my pig somewhere, and my pigs now do you within my territory, you cross the line. Okay. So we should be mentally balanced on issues like this.
Thank you so much.
You should be asking about it to do. How can a governor not know that you are supposed to sign this? This is too simple. This one is like ABC now. A for apple, B for ball. Sign it and let us go.
Are you sure it's so easy? A for apple, B for ball. Anyway, Derek, you're going to have the last line on this discussion because our time is up. Okay, we have 2 seconds or 3 seconds to summarize about, but Derek, for now, what do you feel about this? The enforcement of this law. We're still waiting for the governor to make it a law, and of course, other states, to really enforce the law so that others can just follow suit.
Well, I think we are on the implementation phase of the law now. And it is not out of place for the governor to call for a town hall meeting with a view to hearing from all assembly, from the various interest groups, in relation to this issue on ground. To hastily sign the bill into law, might not be so pragmatic. I don't know if there's a political face to it anyway, but what we've seen so far, I think is what is obtainable, what is supposed to be obtainable. I'm also not unaware of the fact that there have been some laws, sensitive laws that have been signed, bills that have been signed into law without this process of calling for town hall
meeting.
But actually, this is what is supposed to be obtainable. A law that borders on the welfare of the generality of the people, that affects the people directly, is the people's opinion ought to be sought before it is signed into law. As a matter of fact, before it is passed into law, the people's opinion ought to be sought. I would say that it is always better to be on the part of the people. And to being a leader is not a day job. Mostly it's not by accident. So I know that Mr. Governor is doing everything possible to ensuring that this law will not just be signed, this bill will not just be signed into law, but so that it will be something that will be embraced by all. But so,
all I said is as simple as ABC, A for apple, B for ball. I just sign it and just go.
A for apple. Go and ask my 2-year-old son to read A for apple. So it's in stages. Our capacity and the stage at which we are matters in relation to taking decisions.
All right, thank you.
This decision is a sensitive one. And I think we need to give it some time. It's not yet time for us to conclude.
People are dying. That's why you have to hasten up. What is life? Life.
You're not taking it from where he stops. When you say it's a sensitive decision, the decision to ask people to take COVID-19 vaccine compulsory was not sensitive. But I was in that town hall meeting. And my observation was that the town hall meeting was a stage managed meeting.
Your own observation?
I said observation was a stage managed town hall meeting. Only a negligible few participants were allowed to make comments. But painfully, I do not want to rest the problem on that of the governor. I rest it on the Enige because I was disappointed that none of the Enige represented their people in that town hall meeting. I was there. The first set of persons the governor wanted to make position on the issue were the Eniges. The first one stood up and said he needs 2 weeks to go and meet with the people, whereas we were given not less than 1 week notice to appear. The second one stood up, the third one stood up before the microphone now moved to CAN and all other interest groups. But the point I'm making is that people like us got agitated and angry. I do not expect that at that point, an Enoge will be saying, I want to go consult with my people. What we discover is that because the governor asked a very sensitive question, as much as I believe there is a protocol attuned to his move, and the reason why he would have to go to Mr. President and be talking of ranching when that was not the demand per se, has a protocol. But again, blame first the Eniges, because he asked a sensitive question. Can a cattle rearer come to your locality
without your consent
and Enoge or the community knowing? They were dumbfounded, and we were quick to answer no, because the Eniges usually collect honorarium, if you like, monetary compensation from these rearers, and at the end the lives of people are at stake, and you are coming to a meeting. Why not just tell us the story of how many persons have died in your community and the need for the government to speedily act? Why asking for an extension to look totally? They made no comment, no commitment.
And you're blaming the governor?
No, the governor has a political undertone, I agree. But I also say most especially, the Nigerians have more.
All right.
On the issue.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up. I wish you have an Enige here to really speak on their behalf. But you say you were there, you saw the reaction because the governor asked a very good question.
Yes, of course.
Would they be your land without you knowing? That's a big question. So it's not all the blames on the governor. I say I have to go consult with them. So nobody will say it's the governor's fault this time. He's within us. What did you say that?
It is. He's the owner. He's the owner.
The governor.
Anyway,
listen, the governor started by telling us that if we drive cattle rearers, how do we account for protein? How do we account for meat? How do we account for the sellers? So that's why I said
these are all economical terms and the rest of them. Anyway, 2 weeks. 2 weeks will expire. Let's see what next will happen. Okay, it's past 2 weeks. I believe they're going to meet again, and of course, citizens of those will ask questions. What is really happening, gentlemen? I thank all of you coming on today's show. I appreciate the analysis. This was so difficult for you to follow the rules, but you did. Yeah, follow the rules of the airwaves. I really appreciate you for that. Their comments, theirs, it has nothing to do with ITV. But if we want Edo State to be better, if we want Nigeria to be better, it begins from you and I. Speak truth to power at times so the right thing can be done. Bye for now.